everyone who is here present with us. Well, I welcome each and every one of you to this afternoon session of the Listener Brahmaputra Festival, and also the last session. Be outside and enjoying the view, but we have to be, here also to conduct a session. And for the afternoon session, we begin with the storytelling from East and West on the traditions of storytelling in Lithuania and Manipur, which will be moderated by our very own Ambassador Diana. May I welcome each and every one of you for this session, and I hand over the mic to Diana. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know everybody's attention is somewhere else. I can see that. Dolphin. Oh, okay. Let's look at it as an auspicious sign for for the completion of the festival agenda. Looks like the participants of this, the speakers of this session are the only one at a disadvantage because they're getting ready, and everybody else is admiring what we can't see. We will also like to see the dolphins. Anyway, I think Milda will do a storytelling session about this one day. Okay, so if I may get your attention back, and let's start. So I was given a rather difficult task by Somi and others to moderate a session as a comparison of two storytelling traditions, which, as we discussed with the storytellers, are at the extreme ends of storytelling as such. One being very highly sacred, ritualistic, traditional storytelling of Mahabharata in Manipur, in Manipuri, as was so beautifully rendered yesterday by Shyamkanhai, and we all admired. We were all rendered speechless, but by what we saw. And the other end of the spectrum is free-flowing, improvised, neo-traditional, I would say, storytelling, which has its source in folk tales and folklore of Lithuania. But you could see that it is a very free-flowing, storytelling which involves a lot of contemporary means, doesn't have props or clothes to emphasize, that traditional side, and rather flows intuitively. So it catches your hearts and eyes and ears through the very expressiveness and not through a setup of tradition. So what is in common there? Of course, there is something in common because it's both of them are storytelling traditions. And both of them have been beautifully displayed by professionals who are in this profession, who live on this profession, and who represent the profession and the tradition of profession in its own ways, with probably some different twists and angles. So, well, of course, yesterday, many of us asked questions and many of us learned the basics about the two storytelling traditions, but today in a more intimate setup, we can also revisit some of the elements that we need to know about both storytelling traditions in Manipur and in Lithuania, which, by the way, have the same number of people living. 3 million is what represents the population in Manipur and in Lithuania. So it's a nice sort of element of similarity. I'm sure there are many more. So let me start by basically asking both the performers about their personal road to this beautiful types of art. And I would start, since we are on the soil, on the northeast Indian soil, I would like to start with the traditional Manipuri Mahabharata recital, the art of, what you have mesmerized us with yesterday, you personally, not so much to Manipur, but to you personally. What was your way, your road to this beautiful art?
Thank you, ma'am, and good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I give not my answer for the madam. I will reading some person from the Wari Liver. Yesterday, I already gave performance to the audience, but I did not chance to reading some text from my about the storytelling Wari Liver. Firstly, I will read some with the permission of the madam. What is Wari Liver? Means storytelling. Wari Liver literally meaning in Manipuri is storytelling. Performance has been with the Manipuri society for many decades. As recorded on the manuscript Masilon, manuscript name Masilon in Manipuri Puya, a royal department which conducted the service of storytelling for the king was found. It was during the reign of King Khagemba, 1597 to 1652. The art form was developed in the state after advent of Ramadi religion during the reign of King Pamhaiba, 1709-1748. In later period, it becomes a popular kirtana system in performing of religious rites of Manipuri, death and birth, Karnaveda or Haisingport, a forced ritual of Manipuri wedding, Firoi first date anniversary ritual function, ceremony, and it became Manipuri storytelling Wari Liver as the prime medium for the transmission of the myth and epic stories. As written in the Puya manuscript, the ancient manuscripts, the art form can be defined in two different stages. Number one, pre-Hindu period. Number two, Hinduized period. And last one is post-Second World War period. The epic of Mahabharata in Wari Liver was also started during the period of King Bhaigachandra after the installation of Lord Sri Sri Govinda at Langthawal Palace. Sri Jiwram Sharma, who came from Tekhao, nowadays Assam, started performance of Wari Liver from the episode of Dasam Skanda of Srimad Bhagavat. Jiwram Sharma was honored with Katha Vaspati Award. He was the first Wari Liver performer of the Mahabharata epic. He was also popularly known as Takhellambam Wari Liver for his expertness on the storytelling art by the Manipur society. Sri Jiwram elaborated the art form by including various myths and legends from Hindu Puranas. He has three Manipuri students. They were Warepam Shauba, Guru, and Khetramayam Devananda, and last one, Guru Toksom Thonglen. They were followed by the five well-talented performers. They are Khetramayam Tonsana, Sanglapam Tamfajao, Oinam Moyo, Namabam Sandra Singh, Khetri Komol, and Ngaitem Sajo. They had many students, some to be mentioned are Ngasepam Pangoy, Assam, Morangjao, Kumantem Kaumasa, Nunglepam Shauba, Thaudam Miku, Waikom Matum, and extra. Initiated to establish an independent body of Wari Liver as Manipuri Pauranik Parisat in 1967, and as organization was established. And next, the All Manipur Wari Liver Association Research Center in 1972. Since after the establishment of such organizations, various episodes of Mahabharata was created in Manipuri version. The past gurus of Wari Liver propagate the art form with their artistic intelligent mind and skill to overwhelm the listeners. Their keen talented styles were still practicing by modern Wari Liver performers. This is the text from the meaning of Wari Liver and the establishment of Wari Liver in Manipur.
So it clearly indicates to a very almost classical tradition, because it's centuries in the canons have been established, practices have been established, and we're dealing with a highly classical, highly ritualistic art.
Yeah.
What was your road to reach the height of, to enter that classical art? Who inspired you? Who told you not to choose any other thing in life, but to become a performer of Wari Liver?
Actually, I not choose this type of storytelling Wariliva from my childhood. I have my one elder brother. He is learning the storytelling style of storytelling art from our local guru. But more than once a month, he learning the storytelling art form, narrative art form. But I also with my elder brother to go the guru house, and I also hear the style of Wariliva and the episode of Wariliva who telling by the guru to my elder brother. But after 1 month, our guru told me that, yes, Shyamkanhai, you by heart the story who teach to your brother, and you also telling some story about the episode. And I'll telling the story of the episode of Mahabharata Adi Parva when Kunti devoted to Shiva Mahadeva or to episode from Mahabharata Adi Parva. I'm telling very proudly, very clearly my pronunciation and others. At the time, our guru told me that you also learned Wariliva from me, and my elder brother is stopped because of his pronunciation is very bad, vocal and others is very better. But so, and I'll learning the Wariliva from my guru, but in our traditional traditional style of guru Boriba Matlab, when the first time learning the story from the guru, we have a puja, guru puja. Or in Sanskrit mein Vigyaramba, Guru Puja. But I am Guru Puja done after learning the story more than 1 month. From the beginning, this is compulsory. After Guru Puja, then learning the story from Guru. But I already learned the Wari more than 1 month before,
Okay.
and then the Guru Puja after 1 month. And just like our local Guru teaching me more than around 3 months. And after 3 months, I also bring my Guru to the ceremonial function spot in practically. And when the Guru telling the story, I'll give me the chance to telling the story one episode before Guru, and just like one day by day, I'm learning, learning the storytelling from my Guru, from childhood.
So you did not choose Wariliba,
Yeah,
but
not choose.
Wariliba chose you. Yeah? Destiny. No, clearly you were
Not
meant
choose,
to, right?
but luckily, now I am a professional Wariliva storyteller.
While your brother stopped.
Yeah, stop. Already stopped.
What a story. What a story. Okay, so now I'm turning to a very different tradition of storytelling, which is, in fact, to me, myself, it was the news that we have storytellers still in Lithuania. Since the Manipuri or many other storytelling traditions in India source themselves from epics, right? From Mahabharata and Ramayana, and it's like a never-ending source. You can continue whole life. So many people ask you, so do you have the epic in Lithuania? And we don't. But the interesting thing, was when I was reading, and it's a very interesting study, I was discussing it with Shashwati, right, somewhere. Suniti Kumar Chatterjee, the very famous Indian Bengali linguist, he had a friend in Lithuania and in Latvia, two Baltic nations, small Baltic nations, still deep in the Soviet occupation era. And he took very deep interest in comparing the Indian, early Indian, Vedic and Baltic, Lithuanian, Latvian rites and language, because our languages, as I said, are very close to Sanskrit. And he wrote a wonderful book which came out, he didn't write the book, he gave a series of lectures at Shimla Institute of Advanced Studies around 1969 maybe, which came out as a book later, where he says that the lore of songs in the Baltic nations, Lithuania and Latvia, is somewhat comparable to the epic. while they don't have like a consecutive plot, but the abundance and the significance of it is comparable. And he even sources the word dainos, dainos is songs in plural, to dharma, or like that untranslatable term in India, which might mean, you know, moral, religion, whatnot, many meanings, but he compared it that way. And yet we have a sort of a rupture because, you know, in Lithuania, it's no longer passed from, you know, like a guru or a grandfather or whatnot. Well, we have those very long nights where all the grandmothers were very busy telling lots of tales to spend time when it's dark from 4 p.m. to 10 a.m., you know, and very long hours. Yes, there's been a rupture in the tradition. So to me, Milda, the question naturally goes, how come you entered that world so much that you became a professional storyteller, which is sort of a contemporary storyteller, but still sourcing from that lore of folk, dainos, fairy tales, that Lome image that you depicted so nicely yesterday, that woman creature who terrorizes men and helps women. What was your way to the storytelling?
Thank you for the question. What was my way? I saw a vision, let's say like this. I was enchanted by storytelling. While I was growing up, I didn't see anyone telling stories in any form like that, only in the setting of home. My parents shared a lot of stories, personal stories, how they were growing up, what they were doing during the Soviet occupation. So this was what I was growing up, but I never seen anyone performing a story, telling a story somewhere in a community. This was something unknown to me, and but I think there was, when I want to explain to people very quickly how did I come to storytelling, I just say it was a calling. It was such a strong calling that I even went to the Amsterdam. I was called from the Netherlands because how it happened in the newspaper of The Guardian, I saw an article about Sita Brand, the storyteller. I don't know if any one of you knows her. She has an Indian background. She sources stories here, and then she goes back to UK and tells them there. And there was this picture of her standing on the Persian carpet. In front of her there were pillows, people sitting in front of her, and she's in this classical position, maybe not classical here, but in Europe, a position of telling a story. And I saw this picture and it just was like, wow, I can tell it like this. And I immediately got so curious what is happening there. So I just Googled. I entered the words storytelling Europe school. Yes, and I found a school in Amsterdam. It was 2015, and they had a weekend course, and I said to myself, I'm gonna just go there for a weekend. And I stayed there 6 years. So I was, the first time I saw how my teacher also was telling a story, I just couldn't believe how you can do this. Like, just take the words, have nothing else, and with the words, open a new reality that everyone is experiencing, everyone is seeing, everyone is being in. And for me, it was really like a call. At the beginning, I just really wanted to understand how they are doing it. And then slowly, I wanted to do it myself. I don't know if I answered the question, but this is my journey.
Well, I think it's finally the same. You did not choose, but it chose you. In both cases, it's the same, and that means that the storytelling is a profession very few can do, because you don't choose. You can't learn unless you are given, right? So you have to be called, and then all the means and instruments would be put at your disposition, but it's up to you to know to use them. So it's some sort of a God's gift, you have to admit. While you're practicing something which is secular stories, and you are practicing something which is inherently very, very deeply religious and ritual. I believe it's amounts to almost sacrilege to do it wrong way, right? You will be committing a sin, basically, doing it not properly, while you have all the freedom to, do wherever and whatever and what subjects. But ultimately, it's the calling from above, and it leads you. And I wanted to ask you, since it's still something, and yes, there is an Indian connection, like this teacher from Netherlands is of Indian origin, so I was expecting for something like
No. My teachers in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, they were from Iran.
Okay.
But the article at the newspaper,
okay.
there was this lady with the first time.
Indian name which drew you to that. So
the first storyteller I saw.
A little Indian hook, anyway. What do you feel when you perform? I mean, the question to both of you. Shyamkanhai, how do you feel when you perform? Because you're so immersed and you know that every word can only be uttered only this way, not other way, right? What do you experience as a person during performance or after performance?
I'm very happy when I give my performance to the audience. There is so many, I mean, in the from birth ceremony to death ceremony, where telling a story chosen to the ceremony. Example, when the Swasti Puja, birth ceremony, we're telling the story about the birth of the some from Mahabharata epic or Ramayana, or when the birth is a son or girl, like that, we are chosen from the episode of the Mahabharata. Well, the child is a boy. We're telling the story from some strong like Bhim and others, and the baby is girl, and we're telling some soft story or Sayambar, like that, or Kunti devoted puja of Mahadeva, just like the sob story we're telling. But the audience is different type of audience. Some were illiterate persons, older persons. They want in the prema rasa, in the crying, emotionally story. But some literate persons, like the government employee or retired person, want to the story very, very, they monitor about the story, style of telling and the style of delivery, and the Wari Liva in Manipuri is a very, very crucial time that the audience is having at the time also. And the stage or some entertainment program, there's difference. We're telling the story of person of love and strong, and from the part of war, fighting between someone, Arjuna or Bhim or Sutam or Karna, or fighting episode. We're telling the story. Actually, we're telling the story depend on the audience, or on the occasion.
What do you experience, Milda, when you stand alone without any props, costumes, just you and the audience, and also maybe foreign audience, not your native tongue, because yesterday you recited it in English, which is not your mother tongue.
What do I feel? I'm actually just to add, I am quite used to international audiences because I actually started my career immediately as an international storyteller in Amsterdam. And for me, it's not so much of a difference between is it an international or Lithuanians. I see it that stories are very uniting. It really talks about, refers to the things that we experience no matter the culture or social background. It's really about the emotion for me that brings. We all experience fear, we all experience love, and that's the place I want to bring my audience as well, to this unifying space. It's what stories can do to us. And I experience everything. For me, it is a physical experience, and if I'm talking about a dark wood, I am going into that wood with my imagination. I am seeing everything, I'm feeling everything, I'm using my body as really an instrument to help my audience also see it and experience. I feel really the story just uses me to get into imagination of the audience.
Yes, and I think we could see that yesterday very clearly from both of you. We really experienced very deep and complicated emotions. Okay, so we are talking about tradition which is very old, but we live in very modern times, and challenges like, digital world, distractions, pleasures of fast entertainment are there all the time. And while the tradition is very much alive, but you, Shyamkanhai, also were mentioning that it is eroding. It is less and less in demand, like more and more people look for alternatives. While in the case of Lithuania and Europe, we are talking about a reborn art, basically, which is also something that deals with all the same challenges. Competition is very high for attention. But, so 2 questions which you can combine into one. What do you see as a future of this art in your context, in Manipur, as a tradition? And do you have students whom you can leave your gift, your calling to? For both of you, same questions. Shyamkanhai, from you, we'll start.
Yesterday also I said about that. In Manipur, nowadays, Wariliva storytelling is declined day by day because of Madam already said that, the globalization, commercialization, digital world is coming nowadays in everywhere corner in the world. So that our Wariliva storytelling also declined day by day. So some youths coming from in the profession of Wariliva, but they are not interesting so long far because of they get not order, they get not chance to perform Wariliva because of some modern youths or modern audience said that Wariliva is not chosen nowadays, like it, saying somebody, and they get a chance to performance, they get a chance to telling a story in other some occasions, and instead of Wariliva, they call some modern song group and some others digitalized modernization art forms. They call their modern song party groups and give the performance, the chance to give the performance instead of Wariliva, instead of storytelling. So day by day, we are facing so many problems about the storytelling Wariliva. Somebody said there, this is a dying art form nowadays. So we are trying to revive Wariliva storytelling We organize so many festivals, workshops, seminars in the corner of the Manipur state and outside state Manipur, like Assam in the Brahmaputra Valley, now this Hojai, where they are organized 7 times now every year in the Hojai also, in different place. And Kasar district also in the Barak Valley web branch also. Now I am a director of the one of the association, namely Repertory of Warriva Manipur. Repertory means a collective of Warriva. I am a director of the organization, and well organized festival, so many festivals in the outside and outside in and outside Manipur. But we want some financial aid from the government of Manipur and the Ministry of Culture, government of India. But they give some minimal amount to us. So there is so many problem to revive our narrative art form Warliva nowadays. So we try with my best level to revive and to rejuvenate our tradition of art form, this type of Warliva.
And the students?
Students under me around 4 or 5 days, 5. But different gurus have so many students, but they are not telling the story so long far because they want to generate income in other ways. In other ways.
Which distracts.
Yeah.
Distracts your attention.
Around 40, 50 youths in Manipur, and totally around 100 plus in Manipur as a professional Warriva.
Okay. Milda, what about the future and the students that you work with?
It's actually very interesting to hear what you say, because I could almost say exactly the same of what I am doing in Lithuania. Also organized 2 festivals on my own and organizing events, just trying to get across this message of how amazing this art is, the art form, and trying to get people curious, and something is happening in very tiny steps. Some things I'm quite happy about, like 8 years ago, we started open stage storytelling night at Vilnius University, working with students. So at the beginning, I was also teaching and then hosting this night. So we started, there was like 5 people, I remember, at the first event. And now every time we have 40, 50 coming in the audience, telling stories, listening to each other. That's something what maybe brings hope for the future. I'm also working with students of folklore ensemble at Vilnius University. They do various things. They sing songs, they dance, they play instruments, traditional instruments. And an interesting thing that because these students, they join this ensemble and then they finish university and they leave. And the teacher of them said there's always like a generation. One generation wants only to sing, another generation wants only to dance, and now there is this generation that wants only to tell stories. So I've been very lucky to work with them as well. It's gonna be already a 4th year that they invite me to collaborate together while they prepare the storytelling performance, and that's I've been really happy about them. Somehow I don't know what has to happen that someone, you know, would go really out and would start telling stories more broadly like I do in different events and traveling. But there is really nice little flowers. I hope maybe in 10 years, maybe sooner, I'll see some more fruits coming out of it. And I feel also very in a strange position because I consider myself a young storyteller, and at the beginning, this flag to carry felt very heavy, to be someone representing the storytelling in Lithuania. At some point, I really was very happy to stay in Amsterdam for some time to get some confidence, because I felt there was some sort of expectations on me. And so as an artist, I don't feel so free anymore. But so at some point I take the flag and at some point I'm putting the flag down, just also not to freeze myself as an artist, really keep trying, finding new forms, experimenting. That's for me the most important thing. So the future has I'm planting some seeds, so in some years we will see what will happen out of it. And yeah, I think I answered the question. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. I think the future is there. We are yet to see whether it's bright or it's not so bright, but there is definitely a glimmer of some light. I mean, we've started from almost something that was almost like dead and extinguished, and yet now lomes are being reborn, and and they are even coming to India. And I already heard that Durga story might be born in Lithuania after India, so there could be some cross-cultural, exchanges happening even after this trip. And I think it's very inspiring for someone who is so young and yet has a flag of a teacher already, to see the classical traditions like, Marliva, and you who has been, entered that call through a traditional way, and also perhaps struggling and looking for new ways to live in modern life. We have talked that, yes, you cannot tell your stories in other language. That would be no longer the same, no Variliba anymore. But maybe technologies can also be put to use, because you can record and connect to Manipuris around the world. You can preserve, you can learn in other ways. So we have to look at what modernity brings us also through positive, because there are also positive things which may help you to survive and flourish in the future. So, well, I think we have established some commonalities in the two quite unlikely, different variants of storytelling. But I would also like to open the, floor for the questions from the audience, if there are any, after yesterday's.
Okay, good afternoon. I was very interested in those two forms of storytelling. I'm Brazilian. In Brazil also, we have this movement with the same characteristics. People doing by themselves with no support, trying to recuperate old stories and modernize them, because many times they are not suitable anymore for current times, because some have prejudice, racism, But my question is, as Diana was saying, we can't see the future as something totally negative. After all, future is what we want to achieve, right, to reach. And as a journalist and working with media all the time, I wonder, have you ever thought of putting your work on the internet, on the social media, talking to a global audience, either in English or in Manipuri or in Lithuanian or in Dutch, I don't know, or in Portuguese, why not?
I guess for both of you. How are you recording? Are you interested, exploring the opportunities to record and put it on the internet?
In my opinion, I think our style of Variliva is very unique, different from other storytellers out in the world, abroad. So there is some restriction in our traditional custom also. We're telling the story in only Manipuri language, not translated in English, not translated in Portuguese and others, because of there's something restriction. And our guru also told me that don't go in other ways. You preserve our swelled traditional Wariliva. This is the established produce from the soil of Manipur. Only in the world. This type of storytelling. So we're preserved our traditional style. So, but in nowadays, in the modern days, we're trying to some stage performance, light duet performance, or three thrice. But in the when I received the prestigious award from the Sangeet Academy as a Yuba Puruskar in 2009, I will presented a demonstration with 2 duet performance with my younger students. At the time, some audience give me very congratulate to me, but some intellectual suggest to me don't do like it next time because Wariliva is solo performance. Don't betray, don't do that again time, because this type of Wariliva is very unique in the world. So don't try again. But there is experiment in the nowadays in the stage performance as a entertainment in the audience.
Thank you for the question. It's a really actually good question nowadays, and I've been asking myself what to do in this digital world with a storytelling that we do, with oral storytelling, because I think once it gets through a digital medium, or it really loses a big part of it. Because the magic happens in a live performance. It's really a live art. But at the same time, I really also understand the rules of the world that we are now living. So I have some stories filmed, and there is art TV, digital art TV in Lithuania, and last summer they filmed 5 stories, my 5 stories, and they placed on the platform. And so I am open for it, but at the same time, if I could not do it, I would prefer not to do it, because for me, the storytelling is really when it comes this moment of the audience hearing the story and me delivering it in that moment of a dialogue. Yeah. So once you see it on social media or the video, yeah, it can be done very well, but it loses the spark. Yes, please.
Yeah. My name is DCOM. I just quickly wanted to ask you both, actually. I understand that storytellers normally tell old stories, folk traditional stories, bring in folk elements. So in your stories from Lithuania, do you also have stories of the pre-Christian era? Of the Baltic kinds, is what I was trying to understand.
So,
or is it also new stories that you blend in?
So the Lomes are definitely pre-Christian, and the mythology of definitely comes into my stories. And but I also, in my repertoire, I also have a few autofiction, I would say, based on true stories, something, because sometimes really interesting things happen and I just want to share it. And I also tell historical pieces. I bring the history to life. That's I'm very passionate about, because I also work at the National Museum of Lithuania, and bringing the history alive, making people to really experience it through stories. I really love it as well.
And do you also use instruments, or do you have different tone patterns, space, pause, tone patterns?
For me, the rhythm.
Also you, yeah, after you're done maybe.
For me, the rhythm is very important. The rhythm of the speech, how I slow down, I go faster, and I really love silences as well. That's what I use. I do not use music. I have a performance where I work with a musician, but myself I do not play.
In my opinion, nowadays in Manipur, there's I already said the two types of wariliva, storyteller. One is based on Hindu, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and other Puranas, and one is based on Manipur mythological scripts, like in Manipuri, Maitei Puya mythological storyteller. They're telling the story from the manuscripts. They are using the old mythological language, not using the modern language. Telling the story from Khamba Thoibi, our Manipuri epic Khamba Thoibi, and our kings generation by generation coming in the Manipur. There is so many kings from Pakhangba to Buddhasundra Maharaj up to. Their story they're telling the story. There are two types in Manipur. And next question too, I come to the next question. We're telling the story in only one style. Sitting style, three sitting style. Don't stand up, not stand up. Only sitting in the mat, and we are not allowed to stand up, and we are not moving around front and back side. Only right, left, and front. There are some restriction, some rule and regulation for our storytellers in Manipur. So we are keep it up nowadays.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Do you recite from the original old pre-Hindu texts?
Yes.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
I would love to hear.
So I think we have exhausted the list of questions. Even yesterday there were many questions that were addressed to these two wonderful performers. So let me thank both of you,
Okay, thank you.
Shyamkanhai and
you.
Milda. This was a fantastic comparison of actually very comparable types of art, right? So we can conclude that they have a lot in common. Manipur and Lithuania have a lot in common also. I also remember that Manka, the Manipuri singer, has
singer, folk
recorded
singer.
a song with a Lithuanian singer, so it's on internet. So yes, we have some joint ventures already. So
And future.
so thank you very much for the audience, which we distracted from dolphins, but we got all of the attention from you finally. And thank you so much and I think we all have to wish and to make a resolution to support storytelling wherever we go. Right? That's the essence of this festival and the movement, right? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.